I'm finally getting it, man. It's been a long time. And it feels like, speaking from my own personal experience, it feels like as you get older, I mean, you just start looking at things differently because of the experiences that life has put you through. And it's funny because when people used to say don't run from your problems because they'll chase you, I never really knew what that meant. But in a sense, they have no choice but to. Because when you think about it, whatever bothers you is going to bother you regardless. And no person, no part of this planet has a problem that no other side of the planet or no other side of the country or no other side of the world has. All has the same problems in different versions, different styles, different flavors. It's all the same though. You know what I mean? Like you might go, it's just like going to ShopRite and you want chocolate ice cream, but you got Breyers, you got Turkey Hill, you got Ben and Jerry's, you got like 5-6 different flavors of chocolate ice cream. Every flavor is a little different, but the premise is still there. It's chocolate. So just like with anything, you go through life trying to run from problems and you be thinking that you're getting a different flavor of that problem, but what stands out to you is always going to stand out to you. You know what I mean? That's why if you ask somebody to look at a picture, everybody's going to say something different, because what bothers people, what bothers the other person, what motivates other people it's going to be what motivates you. Now what changes is special, because no matter how many times that person look at that picture, life is going to determine how that person looks at that picture, how that person looks at their life, how that person views other people's lives, how that person views other people who done the same things that they done or didn't do the same things that they wouldn't have done. You know what I mean? Life and the experiences that you form over time are perceptions that carry you into what you view and say. So I just try to keep everything down to a pure sense, because you can get too caught up into the very intricate parts of stuff when the broad picture is the thing that unites us all as people. You know what I mean? And I don't really like getting deep in the conversation, but it's funny to me because I feel like I'm the only person that can talk to myself or talk about things like this. So I normally find myself just recording and just talking out loud, because if I just talk aloud without a camera on, it looks crazy. But I be feeling like I relate to a lot of things that people agree about or see, and I be really just trying to see how much I relate to other people. So I embrace people who comment, people who give feedback on what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to say I know anything or don't know anything, but like, we all are humans on this planet Earth, and the more we talk and connect, the more we realize we are more alike than we are not. And with everything, you have differences. Like a peach and a plum, both have soft skin that you can bite and eat, but at the same time, they're not the same, but similar in a lot of very ways. And that's how we gotta start looking at people. You can't always look at, oh, this person doesn't do this person doesn't do that, this person doesn't look like this person doesn't look like that, this person does not from here. But you know what I mean? It's just, you will find more enjoyment when you welcome people who are not like you. And it's funny to me because I've always enjoyed that part about things, about life. You know what I mean? Because growing up, I always used to think like, am I the only person that think like I think? Am I the only person that views things the way I view them? And the more I thank God to social media, the pros and cons of social media, but Twitter, like my favorite social media platform. And because you can really narrow down what you view and what you don't view, and you can have a control. I mean, not really no control over anything outside of that, but I like the beauty and the fact that you can get my favorite part is, I know I'm rambling, but it's just like, I love talking about this type of stuff. But my favorite thing is when you go on Twitter and you see a thread, and you didn't even read the thread yet, but you read the title of the thread, or you read the post, and you're like, or the tweet, and you're like, oh, you form an opinion as soon as you read it. As soon as you see a picture or a video, you're forming an opinion in your own mind without it even telling it. Whether you're excited, mad, upset, everything is going through your mind at the time that you're reading the tweet. My favorite part is though, that once you do go into the tweets, you'll find people that say something you might not ever even thought about. They're looking at parts of the video, the picture, the tweet, the post that you not even thinking about. Like, you don't even see it, and you don't even see it and say, "Oh wow, I saw that the first time." Like, there are things people bringing out to you that you didn't see. They're commenting on things that you wouldn't even thought to comment on, putting it in ways that you might not have put it into. And I feel like I'll be learning, and even really small, in a small instance, or in a small sense, like just different ways of viewing things. Like, it's not like all through school you had math, but math had different versions of itself: calculus, trigonometry, fractions, decimals, percents, shapes, which I forget what that is, but it's math, but it's different math, and it finds ways to complicate itself. Just like life, you got the same problem, just a different version, more complicated as you get older. You got bullies in kindergarten, you're gonna have bullies in 3rd grade. You're gonna have bullies in 5th grade. You're gonna have bullies in 10th grade. You're gonna have bullies at your job. You're gonna have bullies everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the problem just becomes different and more serious. You know what I mean? You go from hitting to punching to people stabbing to shooting, killing, and you know what I mean? The violence gets progressively worse. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's just how things are. You know what I mean? And I really enjoy the ideas that people come up with it, and I'm pretty sure that's what God look at it all too. You know what I mean? You have pros and cons to everything in this system, but the same thing that somebody says was a negative thing, or a negative item, or a negative choice, somebody else can turn and do the same thing, and it'd be a positive choice or something like that. But in different ways and forms and fashions. Like, I don't mean the exact same thing, but the way that a person does it, you know what I mean? I really enjoy that stuff. Like, and that's what always drove me to sports, is because that team-oriented thing. And mind you, when I first started playing basketball, I played by myself for a lot of my years. You know what I mean? Because growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, I don't know anybody out there that grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, but, you know, I was isolated. Now, everybody that grows up a Jehovah's Witness isn't isolated. So what I'm saying is, my personal perception is only based on my experiences. You know, everybody doesn't grow up isolated. I didn't have a lot of people around my age to play with, and the people that I did, it wasn't really like I picked those people to be my friends. You know what I mean? We just shared similar backgrounds, and it made it easier for people to say, "Oh yeah, you know, y'all can hang out together because y'all around the same age." And you don't really pick who your friends are. You don't really pick what you go after, what y'all do together, or nothing like that. As a child, even still, you know what I mean, in a religion or not. But then you start to form what you want as a friend. You know what I mean? And you form what it would be, what it means, like what it means to you to be a friend. And a lot of people get friends in different places, so their versions of friendship is different depending on what they needed growing up. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a lot of money, so sharing things was something that I appreciated out of my friendship. You know what I mean? Like, we would share money, we share food, we share everything. You know what I mean? I got friends that we do that to this day. And then you got friends that, I mean, like, we all had different interests. Just like with anything, we all got different interests, but the thing was, like, I always felt like, even if I didn't have that particular interest of something a person did, I always had an interest in what made that person like it. You know what I mean? I didn't never really look at things like, and unfortunately now I'm being a little more judgmental, which I want to stop doing. But before, I didn't really care. Like, if you wanted to do something, like, I remember this one time, this little kid brought these worms to school. This little bag of little mushy, fried up stuff, and I'm just like, what is this? Come to find out, it was worms, but it was a Chinese boy, and I'm glad that he told me after I ate it that it was worms. Because had he told me before, I'd have been like, bro, what is this? But his family eats that stuff. And you people around here be like, oh, that's weird. But it's not weird. You grow up and you eat things that's common to your area that you grew up in. And so that was how I learned to be diverse and not think that everything that I'm not eating is different. Because when you read the Bible, they wasn't eating none of the stuff we eating now, but the people was eating good. You know what I mean? Different places of the world, especially when you read parts where it was the kings and stuff like that, and then you go up to like, you know, different ages and time, medieval and all them, people still eating good. See them pictures with that pig with the apple in his mouth? Like, come on, man. But you can't just be looking at it like, oh, I would never eat that. Like, if a person know how to throw down, bro, they throw it down. Like, trust me. Ain't nobody putting nothing in their mouth that they ain't gonna want to eat. And just because you don't like it, I mean, I think most things is an acquired taste. You just get used to it over time. Some things a little easier to swallow, you know, your traditional stuff, sweet, you know. But somebody was that first brother to throw some ribs on some fire and was like, yo, this stuff really smelled good. And then now people eating ribs, like, so it's just funny to me, though. People be ready to throw that stuff under the bus. I be like, whoa, calm down, cuz.